What's up, my bombshells? My name is Amira and welcome to the video. For today's video, our discussion is going to be about the newly released DC project, Birds of Prey, The Emancipation of Harley Quinn. So a quick couple of disclaimers before we talk about this video. This is going to be a movie review after recently watching the film, but in no way am I going to list out any spoilers for the movie. This isn't a movie where I feel like I really need to discuss plot lines with you to give you my honest opinion. This is just more so going to be about my reactions to the film, what I thought was really good about it, and if I recommend it or not. Second disclaimer I just want to give, I actually have not personally seen Suicide Squad fully, so I'm fully aware that this movie is a spin-off of Suicide Squad, but I could not get through Suicide Squad. I did try to watch it. I got through maybe 10 or 15 minutes of the film before I completely turned it off and said nope. I pretty much know the gist of the movie. I've seen most of the major scenes through the internet, and I also watched the CinemaSins video, which I don't know any of you other people who sometimes want to see a movie but don't feel like going to go see it, so you just go to CinemaSins to get the gist of the whole movie. Yeah, I do that too. So that's basically all I've done for Suicide Squad, but I wanted to give this movie a chance because I feel like if there was any sort of saving grace to Suicide Squad, it was Margot Robbie's interpretation of Harley Quinn. So seeing the trailer for this movie, I was definitely pumped. I was excited. I was intrigued. I wanted to know what it was all about, and seeing a movie with all women, made by women, I was very much interested. So those are my two little disclaimers I'm going to put out there before I tell you about my initial thoughts and opinions of the movie. So just putting it out there. So you can watch this if you have not seen it yet. I will not spoil anything for you. You can just hear my thoughts about it. So I went to go see Birds of Prey on Friday night, and one of the weirdest things that I noticed right off the back is the theater was honestly pretty empty when I went. My friend and I went and just kind of looked around and thought, are there gonna be more people? And no, which in a way was good. I mean, nobody really likes a crowded theater anyways. I mean, I know I don't. I do like to enjoy movies with other people, especially superhero movies, because I notice that like everybody, there's like this energy where we're really into it and we all laugh at the same time and we clap at the end. So I like the community of it all, but I mean, let's be fair there. The public can be crazy and it can be frustrating to watch movies with other people, so I did not mind that the area was kind of sparse of people. Then continuing to watch the film, I will just say that all in all, I was thoroughly pretty impressed. I enjoyed the movie very much. I was laughing a lot. I did cringe at some moments only because I can't really handle much gore or horror or just blood in general. So I will say there are a few moments of like ew, but I mean, it was okay. I got through it. But just kind of that was in the film. I mean, this was a rated R film, so it was expected, of course. But other than that, I think the tone of the movie is what really set it apart and made it really special and enjoyable to watch. It really had this overall kind of comical cartoon feel to it, which I think only made sense because Harley Quinn in itself is just such a like jokester, sassy little comical character that, like, you know, you never know which way she's gonna go, and she kind of just has these twists and turns and funny characteristics to her. So I think it completely made sense in the tone and the direction that they went in the film. I would say kind of think Scott Pilgrim, but instead of video game, comic book, if that makes sense. So some of the illustrations they used in it, the way they narrated the movie, the way the whole movie was put together, it really kind of reminded me of the way Scott Pilgrim did it, which Scott Pilgrim is one of my favorite movies. I think it's such a classic. It's so well done. So I like the kind of little nod and touches they did of it, but just made it more comic book style and more like Harley Quinn-esque. And I mean, it only fit because the actress who played Ramona Flowers is in the movie and she plays Huntress. So, I mean, it's kind of cute in a way that it kind of tied like that. With that being said, since it did kind of have that like jokester sort of aura to it, and with Harley Quinn's character, I do feel like some of the actors decided to choose to be a little bit more cartoonish with the way that they depicted their characters, because I think they wanted to sort of match the tone that she was setting for the movie. So with that, I think it made total sense. I mean, looking right off from the trailer and thinking about Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, it seems like a weird choice at first, but I will say he actually delivered the role in a very unusual but fun way. I think he did have like something sort of cartoonish and exaggerant of him that I think it worked. Whereas if we go back to Suicide Squad and think about Jared Leto's Joker, I don't really understand the tone they went with that. I think that was like trying too hard and stretching it too far, where I don't think it had a comical sense to it. I just think it honestly looked dumb. And I think Suicide Squad in general, when they came out with the final advertising for it and the way they were trying to push it, to me it just looked like Tumblr threw up all over it. Just the way that they were drawing the characters, trying to depict the characters, even the way they introduced the characters in the beginning of the film, it just seemed forced to me, and it just seemed like they were doing it to try to get cool or to try to reach an audience. I think with Birds of Prey, it came a lot more naturally and was a lot more subtle and funnier, and it even kind of made fun of themselves and made fun of that whole kind of setup where you are kind of doing things that seem kind of Tumblr or Instagram. So I appreciated that this time it seemed like they were more aware of themselves and they were more aware of the style and their characters and how they were being depicted. Other note that I would like to kind of say about that is that, oh, excuse Crow, that's just my kitty. He's gonna be in the background for now. The other thing I would kind of say about it, other just than having like a Scott Pilgrim feel to it, would also be probably Deadpool. We all know the success of Deadpool. We also know that Deadpool came out as rated R. That was kind of a change to superhero movies, and it worked really well in their favor, and just the way that Ryan Reynolds' comedy is portrayed in that film. And I do think that this film probably took a couple of notes from them in how to do the rated R thing and how to kind of maybe break the third or the fourth wall a little bit, or the narration. But I wouldn't say that they copied, and I appreciate that, because if there's anything I can't stand between Marvel and DC is when they start playing the copycat game, because I think no one wins in that situation. I just think they both end up looking stupid when they try to do that. So I think they more of just took notes, learned their lesson, really sort of listened, and it helped them to make just a really overall fun movie. I think, you know, the movie had its comedy, it had its fun moments, it had its little nods to other films. But also, I just think that the way they depicted women empowerment, or the way they wanted to show women protagonists and characters, I think they did a really well job with it on just kind of showing the women working together, and, you know, not necessarily putting them all together right off the bat, but really kind of giving each character their own story that we could kind of learn about them, but then also see them work together in some forms. We also saw a lot of vulnerability for each woman, which I think is important. I feel like sometimes in superhero movies, when it comes to women characters, they think that women empowerment assumes that we just think women have to be tough and strong and fight and do it in heels and all this stuff. But no, they're still supposed to have vulnerabilities. They're not perfect, they're still human, and we still want to be able to see them have scratches or falls. But what makes them empowering is how they can pick themselves back up afterwards. So I think this movie did a good job of just showing, like, yeah, you know, Harley's awesome, she's tough, but she can take a hit, it happens, but she's gonna bounce right back and prove you wrong. And I think that the movie really carried a good tone of doing all of that, and I just think all the fight and battle scenes, if you watch this movie, they're really fun and enjoyable. I know I get a kick out of watching them, so I think that was one of the top best notes for this film that I think that you can notice while watching it. So if you hadn't tell by now, I definitely recommend this film. Like I mentioned also before, there's gore, you know, a little bit, not too much, so just kind of a pre-warning if that's a thing you don't like. I will also say they touched a little bit of sensitive issues in the film, kind of things that would involve like assault or just how women are treated poorly. They do kind of showcase it a little bit in the film, so if that really makes you uncomfortable, I just kind of want to pre-warn you about that now. But I do think the movie had a way of tastefully doing it just to try to show an issue, but also to show what women can do when they're in that issue, or maybe how women can feel about other women and how we could kind of help each other out. So I would only just try to say that about the film because I know some people could feel certain types of way about those things, and it can draw a lot of attention and drama. So I just kind of wanted to touch upon that a little bit just to kind of warn you. But overall, I mean, I really would recommend this film. At the end of it, we were walking out of the theater and we're like, I have hopes for DC now. I'm really excited to see maybe what else they could do with these characters, how farther they might want to go, because I do think Harley Quinn ended up being a really good depiction and a good way to go. And then we did get the Joker movie that finally kind of saved that character. Well, not that he really needs saving, but I don't think we ever wanted to leave it in the hands of Jared Leto. Let's just put it at that. I don't see that this film is going to get incorporated with the Joker film, but I'm just excited to see DC work on more projects that I can be passionate about and I can really be into, and seeing what they're doing with these characters and kind of taking my advice and going in a darker, more twisted tone. But obviously with this film, they also still had fun with it. So it still has a lighthearted energy to it, and it's still really silly. But it still has its like serious moments and its dark moments, and to me more realistic things where you don't always kind of see that in Marvel films because it is so like alien and galaxy and galactic and superpowers type of thing, which is great and that's what they do. But I would really like DC to kind of focus on the less cheesy aspects and more just focus on maybe more serious issues and serious tones, but finding a way to like make it fun to talk about or really open people's eyes and just make an enjoyable film. So kudos to DC. I'm very happy you made this movie. I will probably buy it. I will still close my eyes at the cringy parts, but I really enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun. Crow is back. So I really recommend it. If you've already seen it already, do you want to see it again? If you have not seen it, I'm telling you, get to the theater now. It should not be empty. You need to go and watch this movie. I think it's really great. And thank you guys so much for joining me today on talking about Birds of Prey. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. Also be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified of new videos. I will also say though, I do post more actual content on my blog. The website is bombshellgamingstyle.com. I post weekly on there different blog topics, including adding my YouTube videos to that site. So if you actually want to get notified of more content I'm actually producing, I would suggest you head over to my website and you can subscribe over there with just an email address, and you can get notified of posts over there. I do want to start adding more to YouTube. I'm in the process. I'm working on it. I promise. But I definitely do push more content over there. And you can also follow Bombshell social media. I have links to it down in the description below. And until next time, my bombshells, thank you and bye.